Marvel is back with Phase 4, finally.
But we're not really sure what it's all about.
And the MCU goes a bit old school, all on this episode of the Feel Good Media Show with Kevin and Milton.
Welcome to the Feel Good Media Show with Kevin and Milton. We are just two guys, a pastor, an entrepreneur. We're just like movies. We like TV.
We love it.
Yeah, and we're trying to figure out the feel good, do good life, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So here we are.
Here we are.
Talking Wandavision.
This is it. I have been waiting for this moment for years, like a long time. Well, probably a year, because the last time we got Marvel was Endgame, and so yeah, that was about a couple years ago.
Endgame? Are you sure?
Yeah, that's
That's
the last.
I don't know if
That
you're
was
right
the
about that. Hold
that
on.
was a really challenge already, right at the top.
Well, let's be honest. Okay,
Okay.
you might be right.
Yeah.
No. Wrong.
Was
Wrong.
it Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Oh, yes, I was
Spider-Man
wrong.
Far From Home.
Dang it, Kevin 0-1 right from the top.
Hey, somebody's got to win.
All right,
Might as well be me.
All right, so Spider-Man. But I'm not quite sure when that came out. But anyway, we have been waiting for the Phase 4 kickoff. Of course, COVID, like everything in life, has paused it for a good year. But WandaVision is on Disney+, and this kicks off Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. I'm a big nerd when it comes to comic books and superheroes, especially the MCU. I've seen those films over and over and over and over and over again. Thank you, Disney Plus. Thank you, Kevin Feige. So it's been great. But this series is really strange, but enjoyable.
It is.
I've loved it. I loved it from the very, very beginning. The first scene, I was like, you got me.
We are going to be talking about the first 4 episodes.
Yes.
So this is a action-packed episode of the Feel Good Media Show. So a little bit of a spoiler alert. If you don't like spoilers, don't turn on your internet.
Right.
And that includes us.
Well, don't make people feel bad just because they haven't gotten to, hearing about WandaVision.
I'm telling you, the internet has spoiled this like 100 ways by 2:00 in the morning on every single episode. So Disney Plus is taking, like, they're releasing one a week, 30 minutes, and then they're making us wait like we're in 1990 for the next episode.
I find your attitude offensive. What's wrong with 1990? It was a great decade. Not better than 80, but it was a good decade.
True.
And listen, man, are you a millennial? Are you like
I am.
What?
I am on the very end of it.
Okay, so you millennials, the way you watch TV, like, we used to have to wait back in the days, and that was good.
No,
you got
it
to
was
talk.
not. No, it was horrible.
Kevin, no, it was
I want to be
great.
done. I want to be done with this series now and then enjoy it.
The worst thing that's happened to television has been binge watching.
All right.
I
disagree.
Oh, man. Well, but we don't. Okay, fine.
Okay.
But we don't disagree that this show is interesting.
It is interesting. And I do appreciate, after years of binge watching and getting used to that, I do appreciate coming back and letting the episodes breathe a little bit. And there's actual cliffhangers where you have to wait and discuss and hang out. And I think that, okay, I'm on the fence.
I knew you were going to come to my side of this argument. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's
not there,
Milton
No.
2, Kevin 0.
1.5. 1.5. All right, so we're talking about the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And this show's like wackadoodle. Like, what is that? That was a 1990s reference. Is it like, what is going on? We started, the first 3 episodes were very much like this comedy show, taking these 2 characters that we have loved from the Avengers and just making this weird 50s and 60s and 70s comedy show that really showcases these 2 actors in ways we haven't seen before.
Yeah, they are 2 great actors. I think they're bringing a level of confusion to the show and mystery, which is, so much movie on television is just so ABC, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. You know what's going to happen, beginning, middle, end, and this is making you think, and it's making you wonder, and it's making you like use your brain power. Finally, like challenge me, television, because it was called a boob tube for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So now I love it. I love it because I'm sitting there with my wife watching, and I'm like, what do you think's going on? And she's asking me, what do you think's going on? And we're sharing theories and everything, and I just can't wait. She and I haven't sat down to watch the latest episode together yet, but I can't wait to do that with her.
Episode 4?
Yeah, episode 4.
Episode 4 is where it all came together. They really answered the question of what all this means. Otherwise, 1 through 3, you're kind of just in the dark going, what's going on? But 4 picked up the pace incredibly. So, like old-fashioned TV series. It's like Bewitched and the Brady Bunch. Did you get into these shows?
Oh yeah, I was a big Brady Bunch guy. I was a Gilligan's Island guy.
Okay.
I was
Leave It to Beaver.
Leave It to Beaver. Yeah, loved all those shows.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of them.
Oh my goodness. You still can, right? They're still available.
No.
You gotta watch them.
Can I binge watch them?
Oh boy, you're hurting me. You are hurting me so deeply right now.
I think what my very first episodic series is, I think the word was Wonder Years. Do you remember Wonder Years?
I do remember Wonder Years. Fred Savage
Yep.
was the main. What was the gal's name?
Winnie Cooper.
Winnie Cooper. I think all junior high boys had a crush on her.
Winnie was it.
Oh boy. Okay, here's one right now. So yeah, Wonder Years, great show, but you got to go back to the classics, Kevin. The classics are there. It was a different time. It was a more innocent time, and I'm a nostalgic guy. I loved going back to that and just enjoying just this black and white laugh track. I Love Lucy feeling of a show.
It's black and white, though. There are 2 things in film I can't do: black and white and British accents. Like BBC stuff, I can't do it.
So you hated the first episode. You hated the first episode.
It was driving me insane.
And I almost hate you for hating the first episode,
In
honestly.
fact, I think I texted you a couple times and like, when is the show going to get off this format and pick up the pace? Like I want my $6.99 a month Disney Plus subscription to be worth it. And it's not this. Like, show me some special effects, blow some crap up. Let's get going. I'm a Marvel fan. Let's go.
And when you texted me that, I was bothered. I was like, what is wrong with my friend
That's all right.
Kevin?
We can make this work still.
We can.
So
Look,
we're
we're
making
still
this work.
buddies. We don't have to agree on everything. It's fine.
Yes. In episode
Maybe.
4, I think we all came together, and now this is a euphoric TV series that we all love.
Yeah. Well, they never totally abandoned the new audience, right? Even in the first episode, the aspect ratio changed, and you did get the color, and you knew that something was going on, and they gave you enough of a breadcrumb that you're like, okay, I'm gonna stick with this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with this and see what happens. And episode 4 just blew everything up. And you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
When you see the ashes or whatever
that-
coming back together.
That was a moment.
What?
Because when did you realize that they were going back to the blip?
At that moment. So
But
episode 4.
did they have to tell you? They had to
No,
tell
no.
me. Well, I'm really dumb. They had to tell me.
Okay.
And then I realized, oh my gosh, we're going back to the moment, the 5 years where everybody disappeared, and now they're all coming back.
Yeah, it's when Hulk snaps the gauntlet.
Right, okay. Yeah.
And brings everybody back.
That was in Avengers Endgame.
In Endgame, yeah. So I actually watched it here at the radio station, and I'm sitting at the table and I'm pounding on the table. I'm like, yes.
We got to watch this show together. Why are we not doing
At some point, we've got to do it.
I did a similar thing, but it was at 1:35 in the morning.
Boy, what are you doing at
I was already up. And then I was already up on Thursday night and and it debuted. I had to watch it.
Aren't you too old for all-nighters?
No.
Shouldn't you be going to bed at a reasonable time?
With my Jello pack.
Oh, you
By
know what?
8 p.m.?
Now that's offensive. That is offensive. And you know what? This may be the last episode of the Feel Good Media Show.
Everybody buy this guy some Jello.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Do you like Jello?
Listen, I'm a pastor. I think I deserve a little more respect as being a minister of the gospel,
I think
if
you
you even
really
know
like
what that
Jell-O.
means.
All right.
But okay, what's the show about? What do you think the show's about?
I think the major theme of this show is avoiding reality. I mean, that's it. It's I think we learned in episode 4, Wanda is controlling this. She has created this entire reality to deal with pain. And, dead Vision is walking around.
Oh,
that was
man.
another moment in
Wow.
episode 4. My heart really broke because this is a love story, and she has created this entire reality around a love lost.
Yeah.
Vision is still dead, and they acknowledge that on the outside world. And here he is walking around and doing life, and she's gonna have to face this eventually.
Right.
And I felt the weight of that. I'm like, wow, how many of us would create that alternate reality if we could? I would.
Yeah.
Pain sucks. It's something I absolutely avoid. So I think that's a big theme.
I've worked with enough people in what I do. I see this theme in reality. This is showing it in a TV show, but I see people that are just trying to avoid negativity, trying to avoid dealing with issues, and because it's easier, right? It's easier in the moment. It's easier to just say, I'll deal with that later. The problem is, which I think my guess is the show is going to move towards this, is that the more you avoid pain, the greater and stronger the pain gets, and the harder it is later to actually unravel it and deal with it and find the solution. And I just see that over and over in people, and it drives people to addiction, to broken relationships, to self-harm.
Yeah. To blowing people out through the walls with their special powers and across the field. That happens. It happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I think this show is a great telling of this story that many of us go through.
I think they're setting us up for an incredibly tragic, sad story.
You do.
And Endgame, and the whole
Oh,
last 2 Avengers, it was heavy. That was incredibly sad. You dealt with loss. People, half the world disappearing. Can you imagine just your family just disappearing?
Right.
And what that pushes you to. We saw that through the Arrow guy. What's his name?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Like that tragic loss pushed him to vengeance. And, the tragic loss that Black Widow experienced pushed her to just dive into work.
Right.
Like she had to run the Avengers because that's all she had. And I related with a lot of those. I think Scarlet Witch is, Wanda is definitely dealing with pain with humor. I think she's an Enneagram 7, like myself.
Oh, so you're a Wanda. You do this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're a pain avoidance person.
100%. In fact, now this conversation, I knew we were going there, and I was like, I don't want to have this conversation, but I will because I like you and you're a good guy.
Okay, well, thanks.
But dealing with humor is a massive avoidance. Making a joke and creating comedy is a way to avoid dealing with reality. So, I mean, you said you see this a lot in what you do. What pulls people out? What's the encouragement? Why do I deal with this pain?
It's hard, man. It's hard. It's not the best way to deal with pain. It's just not. And I know that it might be your natural way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I'd encourage you to really fight that. It's gaining courage It's gaining courage, and how do you do that? I'm not sure. Sometimes you just take a leap of faith, and I think one thing people need to realize, because I think the biggest fear in dealing with pain is rejection. So I have to go to you, and I have to admit the pain that exists between us. And my fear is that in going to you and saying, Kevin, like, this isn't good, you're going to be like, well, forget you. Right?
Yeah.
And most of the time, in my experience, what you think is going to happen is the worst case scenario, and almost never does the worst case scenario ever happen. Now, could something bad happen? Will it hurt? Will it not be a great experience? Absolutely. But going through that pain has a growth potential.
Sure.
Has a growth potential, and it allows you to become a better and bigger person. But you got to take that first step, and you got to go ahead and embrace those emotions. And it's hard. I understand that it's hard. So I'd encourage you, Kevin, don't make a bad choice. Choose pain.
Or a bad joke.
Or a bad joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Choose pain. I think a lot of people get confused on how to bring God along in that process.
Yeah.
Because pain is very self-absorbing. It's very much, you're creating this alternate reality and world to deal with this. In my experience, God has been one to pull me out of that. I still don't lean into it as much as I should. I don't lean into him as much as I should. I would love to do that quicker.
Yeah.
And I think you see that with a lot of people. They're just floundering. They're kind of steadying in this. And like you said, the worse it gets, the more you got to create, the more you have to build and correct and build and correct. There really is true freedom in just letting it go. And the cool thing about God is he can shoulder some of that.
Yeah.
It's been a cool experience, but still I don't do it because I'm an idiot.
Well, what you're describing is actually a good scenario. There are people who are in a worse scenario, and I don't know if you know people like this, who they hold God responsible for their pain. That's actually something that actually happens, because if you think about it, God is an all-powerful God, or at least we say that he is.
Right.
But there you are out in the street, and you're saying, well, if God's all-powerful, why isn't he fixing this? Why isn't he taking care of this? And that's a real situation as well.
Oh, yeah.
And
why did he put me in this position?
Yeah. And we bounce back to the reality theme that WandaVision is bringing us, which is, what is reality? So if you think God is putting you in that position, is that God actually put you in that position, or is it you're creating this reality because it's easier to blame God for what's happening to you than it is to blame yourself and the decisions you've made? And I'm not trying to judge any particular situation. I just know that these are the emotions that we go through as we experience life. And now we're trying to explain it and understand it in a way that doesn't hurt as much. And I think that's what Wanda's doing, and that's what we do. And sometimes we create fallacies around us. And in the end, I think they hurt us more than they help.
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
We actually agree. I know.
You agreed with me. Kevin, this is such a great moment for
That's
our
right.
relationship.
Do I get a point?
You get a
for
point.
agreeing?
Yes, 3-1. I'm still winning.
2.5. All right. So feel good, do good.
Yeah.
We always try to pull just some actionable items. How can we really apply this crazy series that is built for entertainment and apply it into our everyday lives to do a little bit better? What's your feel good?
I think that it's so much easier to be real and to be open about where you are, especially when you're in a bad place, when you're surrounded with a group of people that accepts you as you are.
Yeah.
Right? Some people find that in clubs. Some people find that in their families. Some people find it in church. So my feel good is that it feels good when you have that. And if you don't have that, I'd encourage you to seek it out, find it, and create it for yourself.
Well, and my do good is just lean on help, whether that's people, best friends, family members, God. Like get someone who can help you kind of get out of that self-absorbing moment, which really we feel so trapped in all the time. So, and do that earlier in the process. Make less stupid jokes.
Yeah, Kevin, make less stupid jokes.
That's my do good.
Well, there you go. There's another episode of the Feel Good Media Show with Kevin and Milton. If you're enjoying our content, it's real simple to stay up to date on what we're doing. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe, but most importantly, smash that bell so that you can be notified when the next episode of the Feel Good Media Show goes live. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.